Hi, I'm Nova, and my life sucks. I used to think I was just unlucky, but thank God I later discovered it was a full-blown family curse. No, seriously. I grew up with a twin brother, Dorian, who was 2 steps ahead in everything. For starters, everyone thought he was the much better-looking twin. He'd play video games all the time and ace his tests, while I'd stay up all night studying, and my grades were still average. He was good at sports, I was just clumsy. Even our parents favored Dorian, especially Dad, who dreamt of making him a football legend. In 8th grade, I tried out for this small school talent showcase, just a silly cheer routine I made up on my own. I asked everyone to come, but that same day, Dorian had his big football practice match. And guess where everyone went? Yep, including my parents. What's going on?
Your brother scored the winning goal at his big match, so we called all his friends over to celebrate.
So you missed my talent show for a dumb match?
You participated in a talent show? Why? You're so uncoordinated. Just last week you tripped over a sock and hurt your head.
Thanks, but I don't need your judgment.
I'm just saying, maybe next time choose something you're good at. Oh wait, you can't. You're bad at everything.
Shut up or I'll kick your face. Ugh, so annoying. I ran upstairs fighting tears when I heard a soft voice calling from a bedroom down the hall.
Nova, is that you?
That's Ella. She's my younger sister, and she's been sick since forever. Doctors didn't even have a proper diagnosis, just a fancy name that meant they were still trying to figure out what was wrong with her. And since our parents were too busy making Dorian a star, it was usually left to me to look after Ella, which I didn't mind at all.
Hey, how was your talent show? What did Mom and Dad say?
They never came because Mighty Dorian had a match.
So what? Did you have fun?
I almost did a backflip and only tripped twice, so yeah, it was fun.
Then that's all that matters.
Talking to Ella always made me feel better, but I could never tell her how I really felt. My problems just seemed so pathetic compared to everything she was going through. Even at school, I mostly kept to myself while Dorian hogged the spotlight. The only time people spoke to me was to ask for Dorian's number, so I barely had friends, until I met Maya in high school. She was new and asked me if I could show her around, and we hit it off right away. We liked the same music, same shows, and I finally had someone I could pour my heart out to. She was the only person I felt free and happy with, but that changed on her 18th birthday. Maya decided to throw a costume party. I was gonna be French fries, and she was gonna be ketchup. It was gonna be epic. But when I got to her place, I was the only one in a costume. I checked my phone wondering if I'd missed a text from Maya, but nothing. And worse, I found her standing near the pool talking to Dorian.
Oh, wow. Looks like someone didn't get the memo.
What is he doing here? And wasn't this supposed to be a costume party?
Oh shoot, I thought I texted you. I wanted to have a costume party, but Dorian thought it was stupid for an 18th birthday.
And since when did you start taking advice from Dorian?
Since we started dating.
What?
He asked me out last week, and I said yes.
Why? Of all the men on the planet, why him? And you couldn't stand that there was finally someone who liked me more than you, could you?
Would you stop overreacting? You look like angry McDonald's French fries, and I can't take you seriously. Also, my feelings for Maya are totally genuine.
Genuine my butt. Everyone at school knows you change girlfriends faster than you change underwear. Maya, listen to me. Whatever garbage this guy's been feeding you, it's not worth it.
But I love him.
No, you're infatuated. Like every normal girl your age is with some butthead like him. Come back to your senses. Fine, I can see this is a total waste of time. So before I embarrass myself any further, I'm leaving, and we're done. I stormed off dramatically, only to walk straight into the birthday banner. I tried to fight it, but stumbled and knocked over an entire balloon arch. Maya ran to help me, but I spun around mid-fight and accidentally slapped her in the face.
Did you just hit my girlfriend?
I grabbed a paper cup and hurled it at Dorian's head.
Ow. Wow, that really hurt me, Nova. How will I ever recover from this concussion?
Everyone laughed as I ripped the last streamer off my leg and stormed out, and went straight to Ella. She was the only person who'd understand me.
Oh, wow. You look tasty.
I don't know about tasty, but I am definitely tragic.
Mom never let me have fries. Said they're too oily.
Here, take a bite. It might cheer you up.
You're weird.
And you're stuck with me. and I put my head down and we dozed off. The next morning, I woke up to a bunch of missed calls from Maya, but I ignored them. So she sent me a bouquet with my favorite ice cream scoops, flew drones past my window with "I'm sorry" banners. At one point, she actually climbed up to my window to talk to me, but I just drew the curtains and ran into the attic so she wouldn't find me. I was looking for some boxes to hide behind when I accidentally knocked one over and a diary fell out. It had my grandmother's name on it, with a photograph of her standing next to someone who looked exactly like her. And there was a note. Lumiere se dara kinsol veher dul ambrax? What? That's what it said, written in this bizarre language I've never seen before. Luckily, someone had scribbled a translation underneath. To break the curse, balance must be found. One light shall rise, one shadow bound. I read more and found out that my grandma had been overshadowed by her own twin too. So she teamed with a psychic named Margot and crafted spells to break the twin curse, a generational cycle where one twin always thrived while the other faded into the background. I knew it sounded ridiculous, but this just couldn't be a coincidence. I was constantly lagging behind Dorian, not because there was something wrong with me, but because I was cursed. The note also said that to unlock the curse, like and subscribe to this video and leave a comment. Gotcha, she didn't write that. But seriously, like and subscribe. Things are about to get weird. I had to find out more, so the next day I skipped school and tracked down the psychic Margot. It wasn't too difficult since Grandma had her address in the diary, and by afternoon I was already knocking at the door of a rundown apartment. I waited for some old witchy lady to open the door, but instead it was a girl not much older than me. Sorry, I think I must have gotten the wrong address.
No, you're in the right place. We've been expecting you. Like me and the spirits. They told me you were coming. You're Nova, right? Hilda's granddaughter.
You know me?
I know a lot of things. Like it's gonna rain in about 5 seconds and you should come in.
And right on cue, it actually started raining. Freaky. Anyway, I walked in and the girl told me she was Margot's granddaughter and her name was Coco Lin.
My dad's Chinese and my mom's American. They couldn't decide whether to give me a Chinese name or an English one, so they mashed them together. Kinda has a ring to it if you say it on repeat. Coco Lin, Coco Lin, Coco Lin. Cool, right? I think it's very cool. Like, it's also pretty cool that I'm my grandma's reincarnation. I've retained some of her memories and her power to see the future, talk to ghosts, and read your star chart, yada yada. In fact, before I was my grandma, I was this super rich woman who went on a ship, met this cute artist. He was poor. I was loaded. We fell in love, but then the ship crashed and he died.
Like the movie Titanic?
What?
Never mind. Can we just get to work, please? I gave her the diary, and she invited me into this small room. As I settled into a beanbag, Coco Lin took the diary in her hands. Then suddenly, she threw her head back dramatically. Before I could ask if she was okay, she snapped her head forward like a possessed owl, then started spinning in slow circles. Then she dropped to her knees, flapped forward, and after a full minute of silence, popped back up.
All done. The curse is now reversed. Whatever once belonged to your brother is now yours.
Wait, what do you mean by reversed? I wanted you to end the curse.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for that, you'd have to find the original witch who cast the curse on your family. And she's probably dead. So unless you have a shovel and a time machine, this is the best I could do. Now remember, every spell has its repercussions, so just be aware of potential side effects.
What kind of side effects?
Mild nausea, headaches, nosebleeds, and in rare cases, hallucinations. It depends.
On what?
On how badly cursed you are. Just kidding. I fixed the curse, remember? You'll be fine. Would you like some tea?
But I just thanked her, paid her fee, and got out of there as fast as I could. The whole way home, I kept thinking if what I'd done was wrong. But was it really that bad if Dorian suffered a little? Also, Coco Lin was kind of a weirdo, so I wasn't too sure if her chaotic head Roomba fixed anything. But boy, was I wrong. I looked around and I froze. This wasn't my room. It was bigger, with velvet curtains, a chandelier, and a full-length mirror. I jumped out of my bed and pulled the curtains, only to see a massive, perfectly manicured garden with fountains and a freaking swan. Why am I in this place? How did I get here? I checked my phone. It showed the same date as yesterday. Okay, this is clearly a dream. Ow! Ow! I pinched myself hard, and seconds later, Mom burst into the room.
Oh my God, Nova! Why did you scream like that? I thought some stalker tried to jump into your room again.
Again? When was the first time it happened?
Oh, my poor baby. You've been so traumatized lately, you've probably blocked out everything. It's fine, we can talk about it later. For now, drink your kale. You're already late for gym, and Coach gets cranky when you're not warmed up before cheer practice.
Mom, I don't do cheer practice. I barely passed PE. This isn't real. I rushed outside to find Ella's room. She might have answers. But the house was so huge, I had no idea which room was hers and accidentally entered Dorian's.
What are you doing in my room?
Shut up and tell me what's happening. Are you trying to pull some elaborate joke on me? Who even owns this house? One of your weird rich friends?
What are you rambling on about? I'm just living my perfectly miserable life in silence, and you won't let me have that?
If your life is miserable, I might as well be an earthworm.
You know, I saw this documentary about teen celebrities and how they all went bonkers at age 18. You should watch it. I think you'll fit right in.
You think this is funny? God, just tell me where Ella is and I'll leave.
Same place she's always been. Why? Suddenly remembered you have a sick sister who needs your attention?
I've always cared about Ella.
You don't care about anyone else but yourself, Nova. Now get out and go sign some stupid autographs.
I was shocked. The way Dorian was talking and everything Mom said could only mean one of two things. Either everyone in my family had lost their minds, or the spell actually worked and transported me to my new reality where I was the golden child. I ran back to my room and opened my closet to find shoes and clothes that I could never afford. Downstairs, Mom was smiling like I was the best thing that ever happened to her, while Dorian sat quietly on the side scowling. Then I went to school, and the moment I got out of the car, people flocked around me.
Hi, Nova. Love your outfit. Can we get a selfie? Are you coming to my birthday next week? You can cut the cake if you want to.
It was like stepping into a dream where I finally mattered and wasn't invisible next to Dorian. I was still processing everything when Stacy walked over and linked her arm through mine.
There you are, bestie. I've been trying to call you.
Really? I didn't get any calls.
I said I was trying, but then I got busy with these new cheer uniforms. Everyone's obsessed with pink, but what do you think?
I actually kind of like blue. But clearly everyone else wants pink, so let's go with pink.
Oh, I knew you'd say that. We're so in sync. If you were a boy, I'd totally date you. I mean, you'd have competition, obviously, but I'd cheat on my boyfriend with you.
Okay, wow. I was best friends with Stacy? This girl who once insulted me in front of the whole school was now asking for my opinions? And over the next few days, it only got better. I had a personal stylist, a manager, and spa appointments booked every other morning. My closet had its own air conditioning, and Dorian had to ask my permission to even borrow a charger. My parents transformed into my biggest fans overnight, hovering at every photo shoot, attending even the smallest events, and proudly displaying an entire wall of my trophies and awards. At school, I never stood in line. I had my own table in the cafeteria stocked with fresh smoothies and sushi rolls. Teachers gave me extra credit just for showing up. And one afternoon, I got a letter from a college I hadn't even applied to offering me a full scholarship because they liked my vibe. My life was perfect, and it was everything I ever wanted. Until it wasn't. Because Stacy was as obnoxious as ever and was getting on my nerves.
Oh my God. Who died and left you that hideous skirt? And why are you carrying a Prada purse when I don't have one? You need to pay fashion tax.
What?
You know, do my homework, pack my lunch, clean my sneakers, that kind of thing. Now hurry up, I'm hungry.
The girl ran off in tears, and I turned to Stacy. Was that necessary?
No, but it's fun. And why are you being all judgy today? Did you forget the time you bullied that new girl, Maya? She was so terrified of you, she literally transferred schools.
I bullied her?
Every day. You made fun of how she dressed, the way she spoke, and then when your loser brothers started dating her, you totally snapped. My God, I'll never forget the tantrum Dorian threw when she left. I even have a video.
Stacy shoved her phone in my face, and I watched in shock. Dorian was having a full-on meltdown while I stood there laughing like a maniac. Seriously? What? And that wasn't even the worst part. The girls on my cheer team laughed and joked until I walked in. Everyone on my modeling team walked on eggshells around me. I even overheard this girl say that I should get an exorcism because I had a devil living inside of me. This one time during a shoot, my makeup artist accidentally dropped a brush. I reached down to pick it up and she recoiled like I was gonna hit her.
I'm so sorry. I'll get a new one immediately.
Hey, it's just a brush, don't worry about it.
You're not mad?
Why would I be mad about an accident? While the photographer was adjusting his camera, I overheard two assistants whispering.
She seems different today. Last week she threw hot coffee at me because I got her the wrong brand.
Remember when she made Tina cry because she accidentally walked into her photos? Poor girl's still in therapy.
It felt like I jumped from living under Dorian's shadow to being the most hated person on Earth, and it was heartbreaking. But what truly got to me was that at home, Dorian barely looked my way, and Ella never came out of her room. And every time I tried to meet her, Mom would freak out.
Her disease is contagious, sweetie. You know that. I can't lose another daughter to that stupid illness.
I really wanted to see her and share what I was feeling, but I was too swamped with photo shoots, press events, and parties to process it.
Has anyone ever tried snail mucus coffee? Apparently, it's very good for your skin.
I'm already having my vitamin C, D, E, G, H, Y, Z, Q to keep my nails shiny and healthy.
You know what, guys? If you hang upside down for at least an hour and a half, you will get the reddest cheeks ever.
Or you could get a brain hemorrhage and die.
Excuse me?
I'll just be right back. Jeez, how lame were these conversations? If these people were the cream of society, I'd rather be skimmed milk. The rest of the night was just as bad. The music was too loud, the people were fake, the food looked fancy but tasted like chalk. Then my date asked me to dance, and I accidentally stepped on his foot so hard he started limping. I rushed to grab him a first aid kit and came back to find him making out with a waitress. Ew. I just wanted to leave. I was walking to my car when I spotted someone across the road. Maya was standing at a stall selling t-shirts. I dropped everything and sprinted toward her. Maya! Oh my God, how are you?
Leave or I swear I will call the police.
Look, I know you're really angry at me and I deserve it, but I swear I didn't mean to.
You didn't mean to ruin my life? Come on, Noah. You and I both know you bullied me because you're evil. But honestly, you did me a favor. That school wasn't for me anyway. The only good thing that happened there was meeting Dorian, and I'll always be grateful for that. But you, I never ever want to see again.
Please, Maya, I said I'm sorry. I'll do anything to make up to you. I'll buy all your t-shirts.
I don't need your charity, Nova. But if you really want to help me, then help me sell these. You're a professional model, right?
She pulled out a pile of tees with the most chaotic slogans I'd ever seen. This too shall pass, like a kidney stone. The only X I want is extra money. Nice! Who came up with these?
Of course I did. I've always been really creative.
That's true. By the end of the night, Maya and I had sold every single t-shirt in her stall. We even clicked a bunch of pictures, and when I shared them on my Instagram, Maya's business exploded overnight. She called me the next morning telling me how people were begging for restocks. Someone even asked if she shipped internationally. I'd finally used my popularity for something good, and I was happy. But that changed the moment I entered school the next day.
Why were you hanging out with peasant Maya yesterday? It's all over your Instagram feed.
I was just trying to help her sell her stuff and apologized for being completely moronic.
You did not! It's against every rule book ever written for mean girls. Once you bully someone, you never apologize to them. Especially not if they're as ugly as peasant Maya.
Stop calling her that. She's a brilliant and hardworking girl, and she's 10 times the person you'd ever be.
10 times fatter, sure. She's a real inspiration for stretchy t-shirts.
Say one more word about her and I swear.
Or what? You'll cry into your organic kale smoothie?
I have a better idea. And I launched myself at Stacy, but she didn't even budge. Instead, she smiled and punched me. Then she jumped on me, pulled my hair, elbowed me in the stomach, and I almost threw up. I thought I was gonna die when a bunch of girls rescued me. Later, while I sat outside the nurse's office with an ice pack on my face, I overheard a group of girls whispering nearby.
Wow, Nova really thought she could take down Stacy? That girl's made of iron.
I heard her mom's Russian. She came here illegally, then married some rich guy, and that's how Stacy got all her money.
My maid's cousin works at their house. She says Stacy lives like a trash gremlin. Her room smells like stale yogurt and wet socks.
Ugh, gross. Imagine strutting around like a queen bee while your closet is a health hazard. If I were Nova, I'd wash my hands with bleach just to get the smell off.
They kept going, but I tuned out. Not because I was offended. Honestly, it all made sense. Stacy didn't rule the school out of confidence. She did it to distract people from the disaster she actually was. Anyway, I was feeling better, so I decided to take the day off and go home, when suddenly Dorian came running down the hallway.
Nova, it's Ella. They're moving her to a hospital. Her condition is getting worse.
The world blurred for a second, and I pushed Stacy out of the way and ran through the gates. We reached the hospital and saw Mom and Dad were sitting in the waiting room. Where is she? What happened?
She took a turn for the worse. The doctors are doing everything they can.
I sat down slowly. Ella, my baby sister, my sunshine. She was the only person who ever believed in me, and she was suffering. I buried my face in my hands, and that's when Dorian snapped.
Is this all your fault?
Dorian, please.
No, Mom, she needs to know. I've been trying for months to act normal, but no more.
What are you talking about?
You were supposed to babysit Ella, but instead, you chose to sneak out and go to your dumb party with her in the back seat. You'd barely gotten the car out of the driveway when you crashed into another car. You blacked out and Ella took the hit. She's been in a coma ever since.
But Mom told me her condition was contagious. That's why I couldn't see her.
Well, she lied. Because you hurt your head too and forgot all about the accident. And Mom didn't tell you so you could live your perfect little life like the golden child you are. I swear, if something happens to her, I will never forgive you.
And he stormed away, leaving me totally shaken. I bullied my best friend. My brother couldn't even look at me. And my little sister was in a coma because of me. This wasn't the life I wanted. I stood up quietly while everyone was still talking to the doctor, slipped out of the hospital, and ran straight home. I stormed into the attic, flung open every box until I finally found the diary. The next morning, before going to the psychic's house, I went to the hospital. I just had to make sure Ella was okay. And thankfully, when I got there, she was sitting on her bed smiling. I stopped a doctor walking by. Is she okay?
Yeah, she had a seizure, but it shocked her system so hard, it jump-started her like an old car battery. Guess sometimes being on your deathbed has its perks.
I took one look at Ella's face and walked in. As soon as she saw me, her face lit up. I ran over and hugged her tight. Hey there, you slept for a really long time.
Yeah, well, I needed my beauty sleep. Why do you look so old and wrinkly?
Probably because I'm sad and sorry for everything. I messed up your life.
It wasn't entirely your fault. I was jumping around like a monkey in the back seat, remember? You couldn't even see the car behind us. I basically launched us into it. So I guess I'm sorry too.
Well, I'm sorry too, Nova. I shouldn't have snapped like that yesterday. I haven't always been the best brother because I've often let jealousy get in the way.
I wasn't exactly the best sister either. What I did with Maya and how I treated people around me was horrible.
Yeah, but you're changing. I saw what you did for Maya. That's growth.
I nodded slowly. I'd spent so long being angry about everything I wasn't. I forgot to appreciate what I had, my adorably flawed family. And all I really wanted to do was to go back and mend things now.
Namaste, fellow seeker. What brings you here today? Oh, it's you. Welcome back.
You recognize me?
Why do you always ask the same question? Of course I do. I can see through dimensions too. Like in one of my parallel lives, I was this really hot girl who lived on the streets doing odd jobs until one day this handsome rich guy asked me to be his date. He bought me clothes, took me to parties, and eventually fell in love with me.
Like Pretty Woman?
Yes, I was a very pretty woman. But enough about me. Tell me what you need.
I told her I wanted to reverse the curse, and Coco Lynn stared at me blankly.
Are you sure? Once I reverse the curse again, the spell will seal itself. No more rewinds. So make up your mind. You can't keep jumping between realities.
I already have. I want to go home. And this time I won't hide behind Dorian's shadow or bad grades. I spent so much time being angry and dejected that I never really focused on myself. And that's why I never got anywhere in life. I can't control how people treat me, but I can control how I take their opinions. So now I'll live for me, with kindness and purpose.
Spoken like someone who's truly ready.
She stood, cracked her knuckles, and started chanting. The candles flickered, the walls shimmered, and then everything went blank. I woke up to the smell of burnt toast and the sound of birds. I sat up slowly and looked around. My old room, My old posters, my old creaky fan spinning above me. I rushed to Ella's room and found her sleeping peacefully. Then I went downstairs and saw Dorian kicking the ball like a dork. I ran and tackled him in a giant hug. Oh my God, I missed you.
Get off me. You broke my streak. Now I have to start all over again.
Well, so do I. That morning, I got dressed and walked into school. And for the first time, people noticed. Not because I was a model or because I had 1 million followers, but because I held the door open. Because I helped a kid who dropped books. Because I smiled at people. For real. And that's when I realized that life isn't about being the favorite. It's about being someone you can be proud of, even when no one's clapping.
Welcome to the Here's My Story channel. I'm Dora Lee. One day, I was in the dining room of the group home where I live, having lunch. The director came up to me and said, "Dora Lee, I have a wonderful surprise for you tomorrow." I figured I was going to have another interview with potential foster parents, but I'd never seen him this excited before. The next day, I found out why. When I walked into his office in the morning, there was a gorgeous-looking couple waiting for me. The director stood up. All 3 of them were staring at me. I said, "Hi." They kept staring at me with huge smiles on their faces. Seeing my reaction, the director said, "Dora Lee, don't you recognize them?" and named a movie. Of course, I'd seen it a few years ago. This lady was the lead actress in it. She said, "Dora Lee is so innocent and beautiful. This is exactly what we are looking for. Let's please start the fostering process." Actually, this was a massive clue as to what life had in store for me. But since I was so happy that the interview went well, I didn't realize that at the time. By that point, I'd been fostered twice. The first time, my foster parents got divorced. The second time, my foster mom passed away in a car accident. I must be a really lucky person. I was getting fostered for the 3rd time, and my new parents were a celebrity couple. They came to pick me up a couple of days later. They lived in a huge mansion. The walls of the house were covered with movie posters. To be honest, I hadn't seen most of them because they were too old for me. My new mom had set up a fantastic room for me. "Do you like it?" she asked. "I love it," I said. "Let's go shopping and get some clothes for you tomorrow. My friend who works in TV will be coming over in a couple of days. She's going to do an interview with the 2 of us," she said. I said, "I hope I won't say something wrong. This is going to be my first interview." And she replied, "Don't you worry. It's going to only be this one person. There used to be a time when all the reporters would camp at our door." The maid who cleaned my room was very young. Her name was Malia. We quickly became friends. I learned a lot about my new family from her. The last few movies my new mom was in did really badly at the box office. The producers lost money. That's why she wasn't getting as many movie offers anymore. In fact, she hadn't been in anything in the last 4 years, and her popularity was on the decline because of that. What's worse, my new dad was in the same boat. That's why they were having financial issues. Until recently, they had more staff working at the house, but they had to lay off most of them. The following day, my new mom and I went shopping. We went to all the designer stores. The salespeople were dancing around us. My new mom was introducing me to them saying, "Isn't my daughter so pretty? We want clothes that will make her even prettier." She bought some incredible clothes. I hadn't felt this happy in a long time. On the day of the interview, I was really excited. Cameras started rolling. The reporter was mostly talking to my foster mom. Then something strange happened. The reporter asked, "How come you chose Dora Lee of all the kids?" My foster mom looked at me and smiled. Then she started telling this totally made-up story. Actually, we weren't thinking about fostering. What happened was, Dora Lee wrote a letter to me. She was a huge fan. She had watched each of my movies at least 10 times. She wrote, "I really want to meet you. Please don't turn me down." My husband and I went to visit her in the group home where she was living. We both ended up falling in love with this pretty girl and decided to foster her. This story was obviously a complete lie. I was right next to her, and I knew that what she had said was not true. I did not like that she could lie so easily, but I didn't say anything. Thankfully, nothing weird happened in the days that followed. My foster parents were really good to me. My mom was taking me out all the time. We were having dinner at cool restaurants, we were going shopping, we were hanging out with other celebrities. She kept saying to anyone, "Look how innocent she is. Isn't my daughter the prettiest?" When I woke up each morning, all I could think about was how lucky I was. One evening, my mom came to my room. "I've been wanting to go on vacation for a long time. Your dad rented a yacht for us. We're going sailing for a week," she said. I was so excited. "Yay!" I said, and gave her a big hug. The yacht was ginormous. Swimming in the ocean felt incredible. Dolphins kept following us. I felt like I was in a dream. On the last day of vacation after swimming all day, I was tired and went to my cabin early. Suddenly, there was a loud knock on the door. I heard my foster mom say, "Doralee, please open the door." I opened it right away. There were 2 masked men outside. When I saw that they were armed, I screamed, "What's happening?" One of the men yelled at me to walk out of the room. I saw that they had tied my dad to a chair. There was a guy holding a gun to his head. Then they tied my mom up as well. There was a small boat next to our yacht. The guy who seemed to be the leader said to my parents, "If you don't give us $10 million, you will never see your daughter again." The other masked guy was filming the whole thing. My foster mom began crying. "I'll give you whatever you want. Please don't hurt my daughter," she said. My foster dad screamed, "You bastards! Let her go! I will come after you!" But they didn't budge. The masked men dragged me onto the other boat. I was only beginning to figure out what was happening. I was being kidnapped for ransom. I started crying. They turned the engine on. The last thing I heard was my foster mom yelling, "Don't be afraid, Doralee. We will save you no matter what." They put me in a cabin. It had a tiny window. There was no sign of land, so I guessed we were in the middle of the ocean. They brought me food from time to time. I'd almost lost the sense of time. I think maybe 4 days had passed. 2 masked men came to my cabin. "Your foster mom really loves you. She didn't even negotiate with us. She's paying up today. If all goes well, you'll be free tomorrow," they said. The next morning, I woke up to the sounds of a helicopter. I peeked out of the tiny window. 2 small boats were fast approaching the boat I was in. There were helicopters in the sky. When the boats came close enough, I saw that it was the police. They'd come to save me. Would there be a standoff? I was really scared. With no problems whatsoever, the police climbed aboard my boat and helped me out of the cabin. My foster family had paid the ransom. My kidnappers escaped after giving up the coordinates of the boat I was in. Shortly after, we set out in the police boat. There was a huge crowd waiting for us on the shore. My foster parents were there in the front. I saw my foster mom crying. I broke down. I started running towards her with tears pouring down my face. When we hugged, there was a huge round of applause. There were so many news cameras around us. Reporters were taking pictures of us nonstop. The TV channels were reporting live from the scene. I found out later that my kidnapping became a top story in the national press. The kidnappers posted the video they took of me online. All the TV channels were playing it. It was all people talked about on social media. The police said, "Don't pay the ransom. We will conduct an operation to save your daughter. Trust us." But my foster family didn't listen to them. They said, "It's too dangerous. We will pay the money and get our daughter back." My parents and I were facing the TV cameras now. My foster mom said, "Dear friends, thank you so much for your support. My daughter is safe thanks to all the prayers we received from you. Now, if you please allow us, we'd like to go home. I need to help my daughter to overcome the trauma she's been through." There was another explosion of applause. I was finally with my family. We held each other and wept. I was feeling incredibly well when I woke up the next morning. I took a shower and went downstairs. I was going to do something important, and that's why I was so excited. When I walked in, my foster dad was on the phone with someone. My foster mom was watching the news about my rescue on TV. In a melodic voice, I said, "Good morning, Mommy." I called my foster mom Mommy for the first time because I had started seeing her as my real mom now. But her reaction was not what I had expected. She gave me a very cold look. The warm, loving woman from yesterday was gone. Meanwhile, my foster dad was done with his phone call. He looked very happy and said, "That was the 8th production. They all want us to do at least 1 movie with them. It looks like we're going to spend the next 10 years shooting." My foster mom replied, "You're a genius. You saved our careers." Something strange was going on. Someone I didn't recognize walked in. "I'm saluting America's most loved celebrity couple," he said, and bowed down in front of them. There was a burst of laughter. When the man saw me there, he said, "Oh, wow, there's our victim," and then proceeded to yell, "If you don't give us $10 million, you will never see your daughter again." I couldn't believe it. I recognized his voice. "That was you. You were the kidnapper," I said. They all laughed again. The man replied, "Of course I was. I'm not as famous as your parents, but rest assured I am just as good an actor." I was shocked. "Why did you do this? I was scared to death for days. Why didn't you tell me this was a stunt?" I asked them. My foster mom looked at me. "You're not an actor like us. That's why you had to believe it was all real. If you knew it was a setup, you'd have had to act and, of course, fail. It was incredible when you ran towards me and embraced me in front of those cameras. I doubt even I would be able to pull off something like that. I was furious. I hate you. This was the reason you fostered me, wasn't it? You hatched this plan to save your careers. You used me. You're the worst people I've met in my life. My foster mom shook her finger at me threateningly. We saved you from the orphanage. We gave you this luxurious life. You are so ungrateful. If you say one more word, I'll send you to an orphanage in the middle of nowhere. You'll have to spend the rest of your life there. As I was going back to my room, Malia saw me crying. She asked me what was going on. I told her everything. I'd rather go back to the group home than to live with these people, I said. She was really sad for me. I'd feel exactly the same if I were you, she said, and gave me her phone. Everyone should find out about this horrible game they are playing. Because it's not just you that they lied to. They tricked millions of people. She was right. I recorded a video with her phone explaining what really happened. Then I uploaded it to YouTube. Malia sneaked me out of the mansion and took me to her home. We told her family everything. Her dad drove me back to the group home in his car. The director was really surprised to see me. I showed him the video. He thought I was right to come back. The next day, my video went viral on YouTube. Soon, millions of people had watched it. People found out my foster parents had lied to them. There was outrage. Again, it was all people talked about on social media. I watched the cable news and saw so many TV crews in front of the mansion, but my foster parents were nowhere to be seen. Hours later, they finally came out and made a statement. They apologized to the public. They had hired people to kidnap me. That was illegal. The police arrested them and charged them with kidnapping a minor. They were publicly disgraced. I, on the other hand, went back to my normal life. There were journalists who wanted to interview me, but I turned them down. I only have to appear in court and tell the judge what happened. My conscience is clean. I'd rather live as an honest person in a group home than live a life of luxury with those crooks.
I'm Kristen. When my best friend Bonnie saw me at school, she yelled, "But you said you were going to dye your hair black. You lied to me. It's red." I didn't ask her why she was mad because I already had a guess. Bonnie was my best friend. The other day, I told her I was going to dye my hair black. She copied me to a T, so she went to the salon right after school and got her hair dyed black. Meanwhile, I had changed my mind at the salon and dyed it red. When Bonnie saw the color of my hair, she was mad, so she refused to talk to me all day. What happened next? When Bonnie came to school the next day, she had red hair. As if nothing happened, she said, "I dyed my hair red. How does it look?" She was a day late, but still managed to copy me. I was annoyed, but didn't say anything. Bonnie and I had been friends for 6 years. She wasn't like this in the beginning, but in the last couple of years, she started to copy me. I didn't say anything in order to protect our friendship, but she overdid it. She was copying pretty much everything I did. For example, she used to hate K-pop. She would tease me when I listened to it, but then she started listening to nothing but K-pop. She even said she would get a BTS tattoo on her arm when she turned 18. And she never used to wear pants. I always wear pants, so she would mock me and say, "You'll grow a beard one day." But as you can guess, now she only wears pants. I can give you so many other examples, but I'm sure you get what I mean. I have to admit, in the beginning, I thought it was cute that she was copying me. She was my best friend after all. But with time, she started to go overboard and shamelessly copy everything about me, from my favorite foods and hobbies to how I speak and my Instagram posts. I tried to confront her several times, but she always denied it. So finally, I decided to accept her as she is. Bonnie and I spend evenings texting each other. One evening, she stopped responding to my texts. I figured she'd call me when she was available, so I didn't make much of it. Then I was scrolling Instagram while brushing my teeth before bed. I went into total shock when I saw the photo on my feed. Bonnie and my crush, Lucas, had been to the movies. They took a selfie together and Lucas wrote, "A lit movie night." I looked at the photo again. I couldn't believe it. My best friend was on a date with my crush. The weird part was that Bonnie liked someone else, but she went out with Lucas only because I liked him and because she wanted to copy me. I was so frustrated that I began crying. My grandmother lives with us and our rooms are adjacent. She came to my room when she heard me crying. She sat down with me and asked, "Is it Bonnie again?" I had told her the things that Bonnie did. I nodded, yes, and she really upset me this time. When my grandmother said, "I think it's time to teach her a lesson," I was worried. I said, "Grandma, she's my best friend. She's not a bad person. Friends can copy each other, but unfortunately, Bonnie does it a little too much. But I still don't want to punish her." She replied, "I know she's a good girl, but I also know I could teach her a small lesson without hurting her, and I'm sure you're going to get a kick out of what I'm going to do." Then she left. I wasn't too happy with Grandma getting involved, but a small lesson couldn't hurt, right? Otherwise, she would escalate this copying thing, and we might have to call it quits at some point. Grandma came back holding a small bottle with clear liquid inside, something that looked like water. Giving me the bottle, she said, "Make sure Bonnie drinks half of this, then drink the rest yourself." Curious, I asked what it would do. Grandma giggled and said, "If everything goes as planned, she will never copy you again. I won't tell you what will happen when you drink this. Think of it as a surprise." I invited Bonnie over the next day. We would usually hang out at one of our houses after school, so it didn't seem out of the ordinary. We were chilling in my room as usual. At some point, I went to the kitchen saying I would get us some snacks. I made us 2 sandwiches and poured 2 half glasses of juice. My heart was racing when I filled the rest of the glasses up with Grandma's mystery liquid. I was so curious to see what was going to happen. I put it all on a tray and went back to my room. Bonnie was complaining about one of our teachers. She took a big bite out of the sandwich, then she chugged the juice. I grabbed the other juice and drank it up too. Suddenly, there was a white flash of light inside the room. We were dazzled by the intensity of the light. When things went back to normal, I stared at Bonnie in amazement. She was also stunned. She held out her arms in front of her. Then she stood up and examined her pants. She said, "Kristen, what's going on? Why am I wearing your clothes?" Then she looked at my clothes. Her eyes widened when she realized what I was wearing. "And when did you put my clothes on? What's going on? How did we switch outfits?" I realized what Grandma had done. I reached for the mirror on the table and turned it towards Bonnie. She screamed when she looked in the mirror. She yelled, "How is this possible? Why does my face look like yours? Kristen, why does your face look like mine?" Grandma had cast a body-switching spell on us. The elixir I mixed into our juice gave my body and my face to Bonnie, and vice versa. Our bodies had been switched. This was really fun, just like my grandmother had said. Laughing, I said, "My dear friend, you should be happy. You know how you always copied me? Now you don't have to do that because we switched bodies. You are me, and I am you." Bonnie was still trying to figure it out. After closely looking at her face in the mirror, she turned to me, bewildered. She asked, "Kristen, how did you do this?" Smiling, I replied, "I didn't. My grandma did." "Your grandma? Mrs. Miller did this?" She was in shock. I began to explain to Bonnie our family's biggest secret. My great-great-great-grandmother was a witch. As the war against witches was being waged in Europe, she found a way to escape from Spain to America. She never practiced witchcraft again, but wrote down all the spells she knew about. This handwritten manuscript was handed down from generation to generation. Right now, my grandma has it. She hates witchcraft, but sometimes she uses spells to overcome minor issues we face. That's why she cast a body-switching spell on us. You don't need to copy me anymore because this spell turned you into Kristen. Bonnie began to cry. "I'm so sorry. Yes, I was copying you, but this is too much. I don't want to be exactly like you. I want to live with my own family in my own home, in my own room. But I can't go there in this body. They wouldn't believe me even if I told them. They'd think I lost my mind. I promise I will never copy you again. I see now how silly I've been. Please help me. I want my body back." I was sad to see her so upset. I asked, "What about Lucas? Are you going to date him or anyone else I like?" She answered, "Of course not. You're right. I went out with him because I was copying you, which was so wrong. I'll never do it again." She looked in the mirror again. "From now on, I'm going to be myself. It's so pathetic to copy someone else. Please ask your grandma to reverse the spell. I want my own face back." At that moment, my grandmother appeared out of nowhere in a cloud of mist. I was used to her doing that, but Bonnie screamed. Laughing, my grandma said, I've been here the whole time, honey. I had to come and see if the body switching spell worked, but you two couldn't see me because I was invisible. Then she turned to Bonnie. Bonnie, I know you're a good person, but some of the things you did upset my granddaughter. I wanted to help her out with my spells. I hope you're not too angry with me, but as far as I can tell, you figured out what you were doing wasn't quite right. Bonnie replied, I definitely did, Mrs. Miller. Please reverse the spell. I want to go back to my own body. Grandma took another small bottle out of her pocket, opened it, and said, just smell this elixir to reverse the body switching spell. The smell was lovely. Bonnie and I both took a whiff. There was another flash of light in the room. When things went back to normal, Bonnie looked at me. She screamed, Kristen, you're you! She grabbed the mirror and looked at her reflection, then screamed, Yay, I'm me again! Honestly, I was very happy to return to my own face and body, too. Bonnie and I hugged each other. Bonnie turned to Grandma and said, Mrs. Miller, thank you for the lesson you taught me. Also, I have to say that you being a witch is so cool. Grandma smiled and said, I'm not a witch, honey. Witchcraft is banned in our family. I just happen to have a book of spells. Years ago, our family mutually decided to take out all the pages containing black magic spells and burn them, which means we couldn't become witches even if we wanted to. Then she asked for Bonnie's hand. Bonnie held out her hand and Grandma took it. She closed her eyes and said, Valese release extremis. Valese release diatremes. Then she opened her eyes and explained, Honey, I know we can trust you, but still, this is the biggest secret of our family. That's why I cast a secret-keeping spell on you. Even if you tell anyone about this spell, that person will instantly forget what you told them. They will never be able to retain the memory of it. Bonnie squealed, This is the coolest thing ever. I love it. We all started to laugh. If it hadn't been for my grandmother, I could have lost my best friend. Thanks to her fantastic spell, Bonnie stopped copying me.
I'm Brad. Everybody stared at me as I walked into school, dwarfed by 2 Secret Service agents. A group of kids who were playfully chatting amongst themselves stopped to gawk at my bodyguards and me. Are these bodyguards keeping you safe from us? Don't be afraid. We won't bite, one of them said mockingly as I walked by them. I was annoyed and embarrassed. This is not my choice, I yelled back at him. The Secret Service agents wouldn't let me say anything else.
You can't just stop and chat here, sir. It's too dangerous,
they said, pulling me further away. I've been going to school with bodyguards for the past 7 weeks. Mom kept saying, you'll get used to it, but I never did. If anything, I was getting more uncomfortable with each passing day. Some people might have thought it was cool, but it embarrassed me. The whole class went silent when I walked in. Good morning, I said, smiling awkwardly. No one greeted me back, but avoided looking at me directly. I felt terrible that I was the reason the bodyguards were there. Seeing these 2 hulking men with their steely eyes glaring at them suspiciously undoubtedly bothered them. The chair next to my crush Lily was empty. Hi, she said as I sat down. Hi, I said, unable to look into her eyes. Your guys look extra tough today. Did you do something to piss them off? She asked jokingly. I talked back to someone who tried to make fun of me. It put them on edge, I said before immediately turning bright red the same way every time I talked to Lily. I had a crush on Lily. Every night, I rehearsed how I would ask her on a date. But the next day, as soon as I saw her, I would panic, and my mind would draw a blank. She could never find out about my feelings for her. I'd rather let her get away, even though I would...
দেখতে এত সুন্দর লাগছে খেতেও মজা বাট সামহাউ গুঁড়ো দুধের স্মেলটা রয়ে গেছে
It has become aloo bharta. Carrot pureতে carrot কোনো টেস্ট নাই. It taste of chili. It's just অনেক ঝাল.
জালি কাবাবের ভেতরে অনেক বেশি কাঁচা মরিচের একটা ফ্লেভার ঝাল আছে
কোনোভাবেই মানাচ্ছে না এটা. You had chicken breast, right? সবকিছু করতে হবে. Starting from maintaining your hygiene to you level upping your game.
এবারে রাজশাহীর প্রতিযোগী লীনা, যার বাস্কেট বদল হয়েছিল নারায়ণগঞ্জের নিশাতের সঙ্গে। যদিও আজ তারা মুখোমুখি দাঁড়িয়ে আছে মাঝের কিচেন স্টেশনে। দেখা যাক লীনা কতটা ভালো রেঁধেছে। আপনার ফুড নিয়ে চলে আসুন।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম সালাম আসসালাম। আমি বানিয়েছি ট্যাঙ্গি লেমন ফিশ উইথ ম্যাশড পটেটো আর সাথে ক্রিম ক্যারামেল, অরেঞ্জ ক্রিম ক্যারামেল।
ক্যারট পিউরেতে চিলি দিয়েছেন?
হ্যাঁ, একটু চিলি দিয়েছি আমি, কারণ একদম মানে আমার কাছে মনে হচ্ছিল একটু ঝাল দিলে একটু ভালো লাগতো হয়তো, কারণ পেপার ছাড়া কোনো কিছুর স্পাইসনেসটা ছিল না, তারপর হোয়াইট পেপার ছিল।
ডেজার্টটা আমি লাস্টে খেয়েছি, দেখতে এত সুন্দর লাগছে, খেতেও মজা, বাট সামহাও গুঁড়ো দুধের স্মেলটা রয়ে গেছে। ম্যাশ পটেটো প্রপারলি ম্যাশ হয় নাই, সো দানা দানা রয়ে গেছে। ক্রিম, বাটার, ফ্লেভার কিছুই নাই, জাস্ট একটা আলু ভর্তা হয়েছে। অ্যান্ড ফিশের ফ্লেভারটা খেতে ভালো লাগেনি।
আসলে পূর্ণিমা ম্যামের সাথে আমি একদম একমত। ফিশটা পুরো ফিশি একটা ফ্লেভার রয়ে গেছে, ওটা একটু লেবু দিয়ে লবণ দিয়ে মেখে রেখে তারপরে করলে ওর ফ্লেভারটা চলে যেত। আর ডেজার্ট যেটা, এটা অরেঞ্জটা না দিলেই বরঞ্চ ভালো লাগতো খেতে। তো এইখানে একটা বড় মিস্টেক আছে।
আমি আপনাকে যা বলতাম ওটা অলরেডি পূর্ণিমা ম্যাম আপনাকে বলে দিয়েছে। এটা দেখে যতটা খেতে ইচ্ছা করেছিল, খাওয়ার সাথে সাথে জাস্ট অ্যাপেটাইট চলে যায়। I can't find what's wrong with it. It's not tasty. A mashed potato, it has become aloo bharta. Carrot puree, carroter kono taste nai. It taste of chili. It's just onek jhal. And machta is very flavorless. Costing it technically ঠিক আছে, but I feel যে this is overpriced. And last day পুরো জিনিসটা আপনি একসাথে আমাকে দেননি, যে এটা অ্যাড করে একটা প্ল্যাটার বা একটা প্লেটের দাম কি হবে। ঠিক আছে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
এবারে নারায়ণগঞ্জের নিশাত, যার বাস্কেট বদল হয়েছিল লিনার সঙ্গে। দেখি লিনার ইনগ্রেডিয়েন্টস দিয়ে নিশাত কতটা ভালো রেঁধেছেন। আপনার ফুড নিয়ে চলে আসুন।
হ্যালো
শেফ, আমি বানিয়েছি জালি কাবাব, আর এখানে করেছি ক্যারট ক্রাস্ট ফিস্ট উইথ অরেঞ্জ সস আর সটেড ভেজিটেবল, আর কোরাল দিয়েছি আমি হচ্ছে গার্নিশিংয়ে।
নিশাত, আমি প্রথমে ফিশটা ট্রাই করছিলাম, আমার কাছে এত স্ট্রং ফিশের স্মেলটা ছিল। এটা আসলে একটু লেমন সস করে এটাকে চাইলে একটা সুন্দর টেস্ট নিয়ে আসা যেতে। জালি কাবাবটার মধ্যে ওই যে মরিচের যেটা, সেটা একদম গলায় লাগছিল, তো অন্য একজনের বাস্কেট দিয়ে ট্রাই করা হয়েছে। ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ।
আপনার কাছে মনে হয় চিকেনের অনেক অপশন ছিল, রাইট? চিকেন উইংস ছিল, সো আপনি চিকেন দিয়ে তো করেছেন আপনি একটা জালি কাবাব। জালি কাবাবের ভেতরে অনেক বেশি কাঁচামরিচের একটা ফ্লেভার, ঝাল আছে, এবং ভেতরটা অনেক ড্রাই, প্রচুর পরিমাণে কিমা একটা ফিলিং। ফিশের যে সসটা করেছেন আপনি, এই সসটা খাওয়ার মতো না।
এটা দিয়ে শুরু করি। দিস ইজ আ রেপ্লিকা অফ আ ভেরি ক্লাসিক ফ্রেঞ্চ ডিশ, যেটা পটেটো ক্রাস্টেড ফিশ, রাইট? সো এটাকে আপনি আপনার ভার্জন করতে চেয়েছেন, পটেটো ক্রাস্টেড fish with orange sauce. That's a very classic French recipe, which means sauce ta to sauce thakte hobe. This is not, if you look here, it has sauce nei. It has become something pure moto hoye giyeche. Apnar basket ajke exchange hoye giyeche. You had option of chicken, right? On one hand, apni ekta classic French disher replication korchen. On the other hand, you go for jali kebab. কোনোভাবেই মানাচ্ছে না এটা। You had chicken breast, right? সব কিছু করতে হবে, starting from maintaining your hygiene to you level upping your game. এটার কস্টিং হয়েছে?
না, একটা কস্টিং হয় না, কারণ আমি পুরো বাস্কেট সহকারে ওকে সব কিছুই দিয়ে দিয়েছিলাম তখন। আর একটা
কস্টিং is just half done, right? 2 hours, come on. নিয়ে যান, thank you.
থ্যাংক ইউ নিশাত।
হচ্ছে প্লেন পোলাও করছি, সাথে হচ্ছে বিফের ঝাল ভুনা করছি সর্ষে তেলে।
আর অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমার 3টা ডিশের প্ল্যানিং ছিল, যেহেতু যেমন খুশি তেমন রাঁধুর একটা চ্যালেঞ্জ ছিল আমাদের প্রথমে, কিন্তু যখন চেঞ্জ হয়ে গেল আমি একটা ফ্রেঞ্চ কুইজিনের দিকে যাচ্ছি, একটা স্টেক করতেছি, সাথে হচ্ছে ম্যাশ পটেটো দিচ্ছি সাইড হিসেবে, একটা সালাদ করতেছি ফিশ দিয়ে, আর হচ্ছে চাইনিজ নুডলস দিয়ে, হ্যান্ডমেড নুডলস।
যখন আমাদেরকে বলে যে যেমন খুশি তেমন রান্না, তখন আমি সদ্য কোয়েল পাখি আর ভুনা খিচুড়ি অ্যান্ড দই বেগুন করবো। অ্যান্ড দেন যখন চেঞ্জ হয়ে যায় তখন আমার দিবার সাথে চেঞ্জ হয়ে যান, আমি বিফ স্টেক, ম্যাশ পটেটো, কাস্টার্ড টার্ট আর কি জাজদের কাছে সার্ভ করবো।
পার্টিসিপেন্টস আর মাত্র 1 ঘন্টা সময় বাকি আছে। এই 1 ঘন্টার মধ্যে আপনাদের কুকিং ডান করতে হবে, এরপর কস্টিং, প্লেটিং এবং কিচেন ক্লিন করতে হবে। ঠান্ডা মাথায় সব করবেন। সো বেস্ট অফ লাক।
আমার আজকে অদল বদল থিমে যে আমাদের রান্না করতে হয়েছে, আজকে আমার রেসিপি মানে বাস্কেট চেঞ্জ হয়েছে তামান্নার সাথে। তো বাস্কেট চেঞ্জ হওয়াতে আমি পাস্তাটা ঠিকই করতে পারছি, কারণ এখানে চিকেন ছিল। আর স্টার্টারে আমি হচ্ছে অরেঞ্জ আছে যেহেতু, তো ভাবছি অরেঞ্জ চিকেন করব।
আজকে প্রথমে আমাদের নিজেদের মন মতো রান্না করতে হবে, তো আমি তো খুব খুশি ছিলাম যে নিজের মন মতো করে রান্না করা যাবে। যাই হোক, তারপরে আমার সাথে লিনার সাথে হচ্ছে অদল বদল হয়ে গেছে। আমি পটেটো ক্রাস্ট ফিস্ট করতে চেয়েছিলাম, যেহেতু পটেটো নয় তো এটা অল্টারনেটিভ আমি নিয়ে নিয়েছি, যেটা দিয়ে করব।
আজকে কি তৈরি করেছো?
আমার বাস্কেটে তেমন কিছু ছিল না, জাস্ট একটা চিকেন ব্রেস্ট পিস ছিল। আমি ওটা দিয়ে একটা চিকেন মশলা মতো করেছি, আর সাথে কিছু স্পিনাচ ছিল। আমি ওটা দিয়ে কিছু লুচি বানানোর প্ল্যান করেছি, লুচি বানাবো। আর আমি ডেজার্টে পাটিসাপটা ভেতরে ক্রিয়েছি।
Very nice.
থ্যাংক ইউ, থ্যাংক ইউ। আমি হচ্ছে প্লেন পোলাও করছি, সাথে হচ্ছে বিফের ঝাল ভুনা করছি সর্ষে তেলে, আর একটা হচ্ছে সাবুদানা দিয়ে হচ্ছে একটা নাটি ডিলাইটস করেছি, ভিতরে কোকোনাট অ্যান্ড নাটের ক্যারামেলাইজড নাটস।
আপনার বাস্কেট এটাই পেয়েছিলেন?
হ্যাঁ, এগুলোই ছিল। মানে দেশি মনে হচ্ছিল যে হয় বিরিয়ানিতে যেতে পারবো, অথবা হচ্ছে ইন্ডিভিজুয়ালি এরকম মানে প্লেন রাইস লিপ করতে হবে। সব কিছু রেডি হয়ে গেছে, জাস্ট এটা একটু ফোড়ন দিয়ে তারপরে
ফোড়ন দেবেন?
হ্যাঁ।